Turns out you don't have to be a hobbit to kick it in the Shire. What's good, guys? This is Joe of All Vapes coming at you with another awesome e-juice review. So, if you're from the West Coast and you're a vapor, you know as well as I do that some of the best e-juice brands are coming out of California, up and down the West Coast, but mainly in California. Centralized, we can come up with some of the best e-juice brands that are our favorites and the nation's favorites coming out of California and still busting out there like new buds in the springtime, you know what I'm saying? But there are a lot of other great e-juice companies out on the other side, on the East Coast. Now, we don't hear a lot about them because here we are, loving the sunshine on the West Coast, unless you're like me and you're in Oregon and it rains 8 months out of the year, you know what I'm saying? But I digress. A company called Shire Juice Co. out of New Hampshire has come out with 4 awesome flavors that have really surprised me, to be perfectly honest, and I'll explain to you why they've surprised me. They've opened up my eyes and kind of given me the wow factor as far as just the true nature to the flavor profiles that they've come out with. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background behind the company, then we're going to break down the flavors as per usual, bit by bit, and then we're going to do our thing. We're going to get straight to it. So, first of all, Shire Juice Co. Awesome stuff, and like I said, you got to be a hobbit now to enjoy vaping in the Shire, you know what I'm saying? If you go onto the shirejuiceco.com, you're going to find 3 flavors. Now, they haven't integrated their 4th flavor into the website as yet. That one's called Misty Mountain. All of them are Lord of the Rings inspired flavors, but these guys are the brainchild of a guy named Shane and his buddy Zim. Just a 2-man operation. Started out with a little bitty idea, as most great e-juice brands do. Small operation that just exploded into something major slowly over time and started wowing everybody and opened up their eyes. Great tasting vapes, let me tell you. This is something special. And they were cool enough to get a hold of yours truly so that I could break these guys down just for my vape fam. Let me tell you, this is an awesome experience because, like I said, big time wow factor for Joe of All Vapes taste buds. So we're going to start with Precious. This is the first one in my hand. First of all, 120 milliliters, guys. No, this is not a zoom function malfunctioning on my camera. You go on to shirejuiceco.com, all they sell is 120 milliliters. And get this, 20 bucks for 120 milliliters of 70-30 ratio, okay? All 4 of them 70-30, which means the drippers are going to love it. The sub-ohmers are going to be vaping until the cows come home. And the thing that I really dig about that is that the 30, being the PG, is pretty much the best flavor carrier. Now, I've tasted thickies before, man. I'm talking about 80, 90 to 100% VG, and I love that stuff. I'm a big fan of the high VGs with great flavor, but a lot of the time it really depends on where you're getting your flavor ingredients. The consistencies of it sometimes can be just totally off, but 70-30, perfect ratio. Along the 60-40, 70-30 has always been one of my favorites. Don't really dig on the 50-50s, but you know, I mean, you can tell the viscosity of this stuff is just massively thick. So another perk, there you have it. Now, the Precious is your typical fruity, loopy breakfast cereal. Now, here's where the Joe of All Vapes wow factor sets in. Typically, I don't like the cereal vapes. From what I understand, the cereal vapors, you either like them or you just hate them. Now, I don't necessarily hate them, but I don't like them to the point where typically I never vape them. I never do. But once in a while, a company comes along where they take a flavor and they turn it into something that a mass marketed amount of vapors really dig. And the reason I most of the time don't like the fruity flavored cereal vapes is because they are so heavy on the citrus, they literally burn my tongue. Like they just, the tang is so high, completely drowns out every other thing that they've got going on in that vape to kick out the profile that I don't even bother, man. If I get it, I give it to somebody else or I put it in a giveaway, you know what I'm saying? But the Precious definitely impressed me. So what am I tasting on the inhale? First of all, an even blend of solid fruit flavor. True to profile solid fruit flavor, which means whether they flavor this with natural or artificial sweetening, you're not getting an artificial sweetener taste. The fruit is definitely there, and I'm definitely tasting a blend. So, you know, a little bit of citrus, a little bit of berry, maybe some apple, maybe some watermelon, maybe some grape, maybe some cherry. It's all mixed in there, pretty evenly blended, but mellow enough with just a hint of cream on the bottom end that the exhale is extremely pleasant. Now, clouds for days on this stuff. Like, I've got one of their flavors in my dripper right here. Clouds for days. Telling you, 70-30 kicks it out of the park. But I was super impressed. I don't like cereal vapes, and here comes a cereal vape that I really, really dig. Not only do I dig it, I definitely vape it again and again and again. Not just for a palate cleanser, not just for a force vape, just so I can get to my favorite blends, but they really, really did something right on this one, which pleases me up to no end. Anytime I can find a flavor profile that I've never liked before, due to the fact that the majority of brands out there that I have tasted with particular cereal vapes, and I can't speak for all of them because there's thousands of them out there, so I'm going to be doing my job till kingdom come, let me tell you. Anytime they can do something like that, that just really surprises me and comes out with something, this flavorful, even blended, and this hasn't been steeping that long, maybe about 3 weeks. I don't even know if you need to steep it, but I didn't taste it when it first came into hand just because I've got so much stuff that I go through for what I do. Really, really good flavor. So if you are a cereal vapor, you're absolutely gonna love this stuff. If you like it heavy on the citrus, it's not that heavy on the citrus. So I'm sure even the die-hard, dyed-in-the-wool breakfast cereal vapors are still gonna love this. The cream was very, very tasty, very sweet, very true to profile, but very light. Like I said, on the bottom end, on the exhale, but on the inhale, a sweet, fruity blend. Definitely the cereal, because you can taste it. It's not just, cream and fruit. They knew what they were doing with this one. They took the time, which shows the passion and the quality into a solid brand. So I'm definitely going to give them kudos for that one. Second breakfast is the second flavor up on the lineup, and this is a triple berry cream. So once again, on the inhale, not even a binary flavor on this one, man. There was multiple flavors going on in this one. I'm tasting strawberry, maybe raspberry, maybe a little bit of cherry, who knows? Teeny little bit of marionberry or something like that. Very complex mix of berries. The cream, once again, on the bottom end, on the exhale, just enough to keep you going. You bust open the top on this, the first thing that hits you is the berries. It was making me salivate when I opened up the bottle just to smell it, just to get kind of an idea to the bouquet. Because typically when you smell it, you're tasting it. But let's face it, unless it's in a vapor form, you're really not getting the bulk of the gold in the bottle. You know what I'm saying? This one was a really good vape. It is just tart enough to give me something just a little bit different, but not so edgy that it burnt my tongue. It was pleasurable. So once again, they're putting a little bit of thought, passion, and investment into a product. Man, let me tell you, I don't know how these guys are making money selling these for 20 bucks for 120 milliliters, but they came out with a really, really solid product. So, I'm giving them definitely a Joval Vapes 2 thumbs up. The second breakfast is a very solid flavor. Good for kind of like an after dinner or a morning vape if you just want something kind of light in between, some of your favorite all-day vapes. I'm an all-day dessert vapor, so but hey, every now and then, the butter and the cream and the deeper flavors for me can really literally mute out my taste buds. After a while, I have to kick those out. So in order to sort of recalibrate my taste buds, as I've said before, I'll go for something just a little bit lighter, sometimes sweet, sometimes fruity, sometimes menthol. The second breakfast is definitely going to be an awesome palate cleanser, and definitely one that I'm going to go to more than once other than that purpose. Good flavor, great blend, solid mixology on this one. So Shane and Zim, you guys did a good job on this one too. So far, I am impressed, not because it's an East Coast blend, I love you guys, but because, these are flavors that typically I don't vape. I wouldn't pull them off the shelf, but I definitely pull these ones off the shelf. So let's go to the next flavor. This one is Misty Mountains, and this is the newest fourth flavor that they've just come out with. Strawberry lemonade, guys. Okay, now already, I don't know how much more I can say past that point. Perfect blend of sweet, tart strawberries with just enough of a very, very true to profile lemon to it. And it's a tangy lemon. It's very tart. It's very pleasant. If you took strawberries and sugar and just mixed it up with some awesome sweet, tangy, sour lemonade, this is what you're going to be getting. Refreshing to the max. Perfect on a hot, sunny day. Perfect to recalibrate those taste buds. You fruity flavor vapors, absolutely going to love this one. Very, very thick, incredibly thick, dense clouds. I know guys that vape on this particular flavor only, just 24/7. I couldn't do that just because I like to switch it up so much and I go through a lot of juice. But like I've said before, not a fruit vapor, but I will vape this one. It is very, very refreshing. And you know, if you don't want to dig on getting a bunch of sugar in your diet by drinking a ton of strawberry lemonade, this is the closest thing you're ever going to get to it. And it's 100% guilt-free, guys. Clouds for days, taste for weeks. You're really, really going to like this one. I was super impressed on it. Again, I'm pretty much overwhelmed with this company. I really am. The amount of juice that you get and the quality of what it is for such an inexpensive price, out of sight. I'm super, super impressed with Shire Juice Co., which takes me to their fourth flavor, Old Toby. Now, this one is a special one for them because it just won an award at an East Coast vape convention under vapenortheast.com. Were the ones that gave out the award for best custard flavor. And this is a vanilla custard with a buttery graham cracker crust. Now, here's one thing I want to say about this, especially with all custard flavors. For those that are not familiar with what a custard actually is, it's a very thick, dense, rich cream taste made with egg yolks, specifically and traditionally. So those with a culinary background, you immediately know what you're tasting from my description. Those that are not, sometimes people get just a little bit confused at a custard. They're just figuring, okay, tons and tons and tons of cream. It's not what a custard is at all. So the one thing that I will say as far as that is concerned, Shane and Zim, you guys definitely know what you're talking about because this was so true to a custard profile. I was massively impressed. And I do have a culinary background. So thinking back to those years out in college, it immediately took me back to the actual flavor profile of a good, sweet, rich, dense custard. And with that, just that sugary, spicy graham cracker crust, it just mellowed everything out, kind of brought it up just a little bit mid-range. It wasn't as buttery as I thought it was going to be. I will say that much. And I don't know whether that's because most of the time, like I said, I am a dessert vapor, so I do love the really dark, rich, dense flavors. But I can always discriminate in the flavor quality of the profile if it's been made with passion and quality. You can definitely taste it. On the inhale comes all of that great custard flavor, a very subtle, creamy flavor to it with just a light, spicy graham cracker crust. Very sweet, little bit of butter in there. Everything was very well blended, very mid-lined, and just kind of very, very even and mellow. Nothing massively overpowering about any of these flavors, which, typically I'm going to mention this one thing. A lot of the time when you find e-juice brands that come out with bottles this size for prices this inexpensive, and this is nothing personally to Shire Juice Co., the first thing you're thinking is, okay, it must be cheap quality. They're making this stuff by the drumfuls. They're just pouring it in some bottles, slapping on a cheap label and calling it good. And I will admit, before I tried these for the review, that's kind of what sticks in your brain because those are the prior experiences that a lot of us have had. But not with these guys. These guys have actually taken the time and the passion to express themselves in quality flavors that they really have put some, design and structure into the mixology and the blends of all of these flavors. All four of them. True to profile. Not overpowering. Very mellow in some of the densest, richest, and most tart flavors that they have. And they've impressed me by making me really enjoy flavors that I typically never would vape or enjoy. So let's wrap this up. Shire Juice Co. out of New Hampshire, two guys with a quest to come out with some awesome, inexpensive e-juice with really, really quality blends, very high quality flavors brought to you directly. I'm bridging the gap between the East and the West Coast. Right now, for you guys, this is a really, really good company, quality flavors. That's about it. Really can't get too much more into that than that. I mean, I've got no cons. Typically, I've got pros and cons in one way or the other for some flavors that I review. But Shire Juice Co., you guys definitely know what you're doing. I'm super impressed with this company. I'm very impressed with the flavors, not just because they're really, really good in what they are and true to the profile, which they all are, but because you presented two flavors to me that typically I'd never pull off the shelf. But you know what? Like I said, I'm going to pull these off the shelf. These are going to be some of my newest favorite vapes. So here's what I'm saying. All you guys go on to Shire Juice Co. on Instagram, give these guys a follow because they're fairly young still, relatively new guys to the e-juice market, and they need all the love and the follows that we can get. I really encourage you, you know I wouldn't steer you guys wrong, to give them some love, tell them that Joe of All Vapes sent you, and definitely go into shirejuiceco.com and check out these bottles. I mean, for 20 bucks for 120 milliliters, you can afford to knock down 60 bucks for some of the best e-juice that I've tasted off the West Coast, off the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? You're really going to help these guys out because the Misty Mountain has not yet been introduced onto their website yet. So let's get the word out, spread some love, make sure that these guys are well taken care of because they're taking care of us with some quality juice that is really going to span around to the Midwest. And I know it's going to make its way to our West Coast. You know what I'm saying? So awesome jobs, guys. Really appreciate you supporting Joe of All Vapes on my quest to keep you guys as informed as possible on some of the best vapes, period. And they're coming out like wildfire, let me tell you guys. So here's the long and short of it, guys. If you dig this review, if you like any of my reviews that you have, if you have not seen them, definitely give me a try at Joe of All Vapes here on YouTube. Give me a subscribe. Go onto Instagram at my Instagram account, Joe of All Vapes _2. I had an awesome giveaway that I just busted out. I've got a massive one coming for the month of April. So massive, ignore the dog. So she's my guard dog, man. I got people coming up for my juice all the time. You know what I'm saying? So massive that I've got 2 giveaways going on. A really solid one with one of my favorite juice companies, Kingdom Elixir. It's going to be a badass giveaway, let me tell you. And I am almost to that golden number of 10,000 followers on Instagram. Honestly, can't thank you guys enough because I know a lot of my subscribers are a lot of my followers on Instagram and vice versa. The support and the love that you've given this guy has made everything that I do here possible, so much more pleasurable and enjoyable. And to say thank you, I've got a massive giveaway to rival all of my giveaways that I've ever done for the month of April because I'm pretty much assuming I'm going to reach that golden number within that amount of time. So I'm not going to give anything away, but the one thing I will give away is that in the giveaway that I'm giving away here, you're going to have everything you need to vape for days. Think about that. Everything you need, right? Okay, so I'm just going to let that sit and swell and gnaw on your mind for a little bit. I'm loving what I do. I want everybody to have a great day, vape up a storm. And the one last thing I got to say is, wherever you are, whatever you do, love yourselves, love each other, love the clouds, and keep it cloudy.